What's up, Gage of Chaos? I just hung out with Naomi Ault, Queen of Horror on Kindle Vella. They say that horror doesn't sell on Kindle Vella. Naomi Ault says, you're wrong. She's amazing. She does so much research and experimentation and trying new things to get new readers, and she does all sorts of really cool things that I think you're going to find very helpful and give you a lot of inspiration on ways that you can promote your series and make your series stand out amongst the crowd. So make sure you hit like and subscribe. Lots of cool interviews coming up, folks. John Conroe's gonna be on. Can you believe it? I'm so excited. Anyway, hit like and subscribe. Make sure you follow his channel, and make sure you have your ears open for this amazing interview, because you are going to learn so much, my Agents of Chaos. Enjoy. All right, I am here with Naomi Ault. Hi, Naomi. Thanks for coming.
Hi. How are you?
For those who have been watching this show, she was supposed to be on a couple months ago, and my family got sick and things got pushed around, so I'm glad you're finally here.
Yay!
I want to tell you a little story before we start
Okay.
about my experience on Vella, because it relates to you. So when I in October, I decided I was going to start publishing, and a friend of mine posted on Facebook that they were putting a story on Vella. So I checked out her series, and it was really good, and I thought I had a series that would be great for it. But reading her series, I had a little bit of that new person imposter syndrome-ish, self-doubt. So I was like, well, I'm going to check out the other series on there and see what it's like. And the first series I found was Chew. You just had that awesome cover and a great description. And I read the first episode. I'm not exaggerating. I read it, and I turned off my phone and said, I don't know if I'm good enough for this. Obviously, I did end up publishing. But that first episode of Chew, I stand by, is like one of the best openings I've ever read to anything ever. It was so good.
Really? You talk about imposter syndrome, and I tell you, I don't know. I read it myself, and I'm like, man, nobody's gonna read that. Like, why would anybody keep reading after that episode? So I'm glad that the cover worked and drew you in, at least.
Yes, it certainly did. Yeah, and you have a great way of like promoting yourself, I think. But we're going to get into that a little more later.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit about your writing background and what drew you to Vella.
So my writing background is that I don't have one. I used to write like when the kids were little, and I just play around and keep stuff on my laptop, and for me, just to kind of entertain myself. And I went back and looked at it recently, and I just wanted to crawl under the desk. It was bad. It's really bad. And then the kids get older, and you're shuffling them around to practice and school and stuff like that. And so I didn't write for a really long time till the pandemic. Actually, I was just thinking about it. It's a year right around either today or yesterday when I got the idea for Chew and started writing it. So it's actually been 1 year since I sat down and actually got this idea for this weird zombie story. But yeah, I mean, talk about imposter syndrome. The idea of anybody reading my work was terrifying. Like, I couldn't even fathom. I couldn't even think about it. It would make me like nervous and sick, and I couldn't even fathom that. So it's been quite a year.
So what made you finally pull the trigger and publish and stuff?
The pandemic, honestly. We're all locked down together, and it was a bad year for everybody. We had a business, we lost a business, and I was like, what the heck with it? What is the worst that could happen? I feel like we've been through it, so who cares? I don't care what happens. I'm going to try it. And I actually was writing something else. I was writing discarded objects, and I just kind of fell into the whole zombie thing by accident, and I got sidetracked with that, and I ended up doing that full time. So that ended up being what I published first. So.
And what made you say that Vella was the direction that you wanted to head in?
I fell into that. That was just luck. They just started talking about it. I was still pretty early in. I probably maybe had 3/4 of the first season done when they started talking about that they were playing around with the idea that they were going to have this new platform. And nobody knew anything back then. We didn't know anything. You think you don't know stuff now. Well, you should have been around back in June and July. We really didn't know anything. a matter of fact, some of the things that I had decided on, I had to change at the last minute because Vella wasn't capable of supporting it. Like, we didn't realize that it was just going to be bare bones and stripped down in terms of formatting and stuff like that. So, yeah, just they started announcing. I thought, that would be cool. I could see this going on so much longer than, even as I was writing it, I thought, man, this is just, there's so many more stories that I could be telling. And then I kind of did rewrite it a little bit when I decided on that different format. But other than that, I mean, I think it fit pretty well on its own. So.
And then was it around like October or November, you put Discarded Objects out on Vella as well?
I launched that. I want to say it was November 17th, the day after season 2 of Chew was done. So when that one ended, then I started the next one. I'm kind of playing it the same way I did with Chew. Nobody really read Chew the first season. It wasn't until it was completed and I was able to say, hey, this is done. You can read it. So I really haven't done a lot of advertising for Discarded Objects. I like it. I love the story. And it's the one that I actually started writing it 10 years ago, and I'd rewrite it every NaNoWriMo. I would get out and rewrite the story. I've told it every way you could. But, I just kind of, it's there. I update it. I work on it. And when the first one's complete, then I'll start pushing that one pretty heavy. It's probably not how other people would do it, but it seems like it works for me. So that's what I'm going with.
Do you have trouble balancing the two series in terms of even just the writing time?
Yeah. I'm on social media a lot, trying to, even when you don't see me, I'm doing something for it. It's probably a part-time job. If you're really working the social media aspect, it's a lot of work, either preparing something for it or looking to see what other people, just researching, what are other people doing? What should I be doing? Learning more about writing, because I do that all of the time. I'm probably always reading something about the craft of writing. So yeah, I mean, we try to balance all of that and then 2 serials at the same time. It's a little bit hard. We'll say.
Yeah, you are very busy. Like you're always on the social media promoting, and you always have new ideas. And I like that you're always kind of like trying new things. And you're like a resource for so many of us in the horror field, where we'll be like, we'll have a question about how do you do Facebook ads, or how do you do this and how do you do this, and we just always go to you, because if you don't know the answer, you know who does, and you always provide us with all those resources. So
I work at a library. I feel like that comes from my time working at the public library. Well, I don't know, but I can find out who does know, and let's get you the right book you need for it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're always providing us with tons of research. So what is your future plans for both series? How long do you plan on having Chew go for, and same with Discarded Objects?
I have sort of a series in mind, an arc in mind that probably would span eight seasons for Chew. So that's a pretty long time. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, writing serial fiction is the pace that it puts you on is kind of tough. So yeah. Will I make it all 8 seasons? I mean, I don't know. I'd like to. But it is kind of hard. It's hard to say, like, okay, I'm gonna post 2 episodes every week, no matter what, without fail. That's it. That's hard to make. That's actually really hard, because there's some days when you just can't write. Like, that's just not a day that you're gonna get anything done, writing wise. So that's hard, and then trying to balance too. The idea that I had was not the best idea. I thought when one was on hiatus, I would write the other one, and then I could just kind of flip back, and it didn't work out like that at all. So yeah, I'm actually kind of writing them both at the same time, and that's not what I planned. It's tough. So as long as I can, I'd like to see them all the way through. Discarded Objects is even longer than Chew. I'd say that's 10 seasons at least. So we'll see. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point about the schedule, and going back to what you said about social media. And I think people who don't write, or people who are just about to get into writing, may not realize just how much your schedule gets filled with the other stuff too. Like, oh, I got to send out a newsletter today. Oh, I got to work on my Facebook. I got to make sure that this Instagram post is going up. You have your readers groups, and you have all this different stuff that you need to connect with at all times.
Oh yeah. And especially when you first start out, because there's so many experts, that, and they are experts in their field. And so that's why you go to them. But, they're telling you, they all tell you different stuff. And so when you first start out, you're trying everything that you've read. So it's even worse in the beginning. It was even worse in the beginning. I was really trying even more. But as you get into it, I think you find what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Because the great advice that maybe a romance author gave you just isn't great advice for you, because it's not your genre, and you don't have the same kind of reader, so it's not going to work the same. So yeah, I mean, I think you just have to do it and get experience and figure out. It's a lot of what should you keep and what should you quit. So I've quit a lot actually, because it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. You're just spinning your wheels and you're not getting anywhere, and that's frustrating.
Yeah, and I think that's key, is the experimentation aspect of it all. Just try everything and see what sticks.
I try, because you're in the Discord. I mean, if I try it, I try to put everything that I've tried, I try to put in there and say, listen, I did this and it worked or it didn't work, even if it's embarrassing. like I tried the readers group, and I tried the read along, and like no one did that, and I put a lot of like promo stuff out there, but no, it didn't take off. It was embarrassing. It was just me by myself. So I ended up kind of abandoning it, but
yeah, that's I didn't do a readers group this time, because when I was a stand-up comedian, I made like the equivalent of that, and no one ever went to it. So I said, I'm just not going to do that.
It. I mean, I'm trying it again. I feel like maybe if I approach it a different way, it could be the platform. I feel like Facebook, the groups are just not, they don't see the posts. And there's no way to boost a post in a group. So I mean, even if you wanted to pay to play, you can't there. So that's one of the things in the virtual speakeasy that I'm building for the Chew fans. If they find the secret password and they can get into the speakeasy, that's also the entrance to the Discord group. So, and I just, hopefully that'll be better. I think, you'll be able to see what I say. We can all see each other when we're talking, you're not just kind of talking into the ether. So I'm hoping that works out a little better, but we'll find out. I don't know.
You just said something that brings up so many good points here. So you have a virtual speakeasy on Discord that you have to navigate and find your way into.
So the episodes, so every week it's going to change. It's actually like a separate section of my website, and it's going to be password protected. So, and you'll get the password from reading the current episode of Chew that week. And then once you get in, there'll be all kinds of stuff in there. The entrance to the Discord is just one of the things. I've got like a series of wallpaper, phone wallpapers you could download. There's a t-shirt store. There's the Redbubble merchandise store is in there. And it's only there right now. So if you really, really wanted a Chew notebook to dabble, write things down in, you'll have to get into the speakeasy to get it. So
I love all that. First of all, that goes back to the experimentation thing, where you have to like be creative in this field. And I think what you're doing, and I think you're really going to see the results of this as Chew continues to grow, is you're building that, what's the word I'm looking for? Like that inside information thing. Like if you hear somebody talk about something wild in pop culture that you're not following, and they have all those little like quotes and things that they say that relate to it, it makes you want to check it out more. And Chew has so many of those things. Even the tagline for it, I think, with the "Where were you when you turned," is just so like everything goes back to Chew, and I think that's going to really develop. Like, I think you're going to be one of the authors on there who has like a hardcore following, just people that are dedicated.
I would love that. That would be great. I'm trying to build, community is what I think of, when I'm thinking of these things to try, how can I build community? And even in goal setting, it's like when I'm trying, my to-do list is huge, but I always put the first three things that are the most important. And it's like, how are you how are you serving the reader today? So usually the first thing is I'm writing more words. Because if you don't write more words, then that's not really none of the other stuff really matters. So that's obviously the first thing I do. But then the rest of the list needs to serve the primary goal, which is, if I want to make a living at writing, then how are you serving the reader today? And that's new words. But yeah, community is like the biggest thing with all of it. All should tie into community, from the newsletter to the speakeasy, the readers group. It's all in establishing like a community. So we'll see if it works. I don't know. It's exciting. It's fun, even if nobody comes and I sit there by myself. It was fun building it. So
yeah, that's awesome. I think I want to steal the idea from you, to be honest.
I mean, you know what? I think ideas are meant to be stolen, but in a way that, make them your own. So,
right, yeah.
However it fits in with your own story. There's no new ideas, I don't think, not really. We're all just kind of adapting it for our own use. So I would be excited to see what you did with that for yours.
Well, it'll take some planning, but I'll try and figure something out.
Yeah. You never know. It'll just hit you. Like it might hit you, in your next season, or I don't know if you're doing seasons, but
yes,
episode 100, maybe, or whatever. It'll just, I got the best idea. So.
But you'll hear about it, because every time I have a good idea, I always go to you and be like, what do you think of this idea?
Right. Yeah. I'm excited. I can't wait.
So we talked a little bit about your where you plan to take the serials with Chew and Discarded Objects, and how long you plan to run them. But Chew itself is very soon going to be in book form as well, right? The first season.
It is. The cover's done, and I'm so bad at secrets, but I'm like really trying hard to follow the whole cover reveal thing that people do, which is so hard. I've had to sit on my hands and like count to 10. I don't know how many times, because I almost posted it.
I've seen it, and it's awesome. So
yes, you did.
Follow her on social media so you can see
it too. You're one of 10 people who have seen it, and that's all. And I'm probably going to put that in the speakeasy first. That's what I'm trying to like hold off for. It'll go there. So all that big stuff is going to go into the Rose and Taylor is the name of the speakeasy. So everything is going to go in there first. But I'm really excited, and I can't wait. It looks really cool. She did a wonderful job, so I'm excited.
Yeah, it's an awesome cover. So that's cool. So you're basically like, I don't want to say like putting your fans into tears, because all of your fans are your fans and you love them all, but you have that kind of like really dedicated people who made it all the way into this speakeasy, and they're going to get rewarded by seeing it first.
Yeah, I think Vella's really a hard sell for people who aren't used to serial fiction. So I feel like doing these little things kind of helps set it apart from the usual reading experience. So, you have a reader who's like, I subscribe to Kindle Unlimited, and I read a lot of books on Kindle Unlimited. And, you take a reader like that, and you say, well, okay, well, we want you to pay by the chapter. That's what do you mean? I like right now I pay one time a month and I read all I want. So you really kind of want to like do what you can to set that product apart from what they're used to now. And so when you do these little things, I really feel like the more value that you add to the experience, the less people care about little things like, how much they're paying per chapter, or, do I have to use tokens or whatever? Like, Prime, we were talking about that, I think, on Facebook. Me, you, and Michael Lee a little bit. I couldn't tell you what I pay for Prime. I have no idea how much Prime costs. I know what Prime gives me, and when it's on auto renew. So I don't know. I just take my money and give me give me the stuff I want. So, I mean, and that's kind of how it is. It's so valuable to me that I don't care what it costs.
I love that. And I love that you're trying to make that part of your series. It's so valuable to your readers that they're, because I think what you're going to get with Chew is, I read a lot of serials on there, and with many of them I couldn't tell you who wrote it, and I liked it. Like, I liked their series, but I didn't look into it. But Chew is so synonymous with Naomi Ault, and I think that's really where you're gonna see those results in that community building, because I think it really, you've done a great job of tying it all together.
And speaking of which, let's talk about your video ads a little bit, because you've become
Okay.
quite famous for your video ads. They're just so
You
phenomenal.
say that, but I don't know. Really? For which the 3D ones, I'm guessing. I think those
Well,
made kind of a stir when I first started doing those.
yeah, and even like the discarded objects one with the leaves falling was just so great. And
Yeah,
then
that was the same. That's the same. Yeah, that's in the same line with the other 3D ones.
I brought you up a few times on my YouTube about Chew and how I like Chew. But Michael Lee's been a guest on my show a few times, and he's brought you up as well for your video about Amazon.
Oh yeah, the parody. I was
Mhm.
so upset because I thought, are they really going to delete my story? I was like, and I wasn't sure if they were or they weren't, because you don't know. Like, when you say one thing and then they turn around and they give you like this really long answer that has nothing to do with what you asked. And thought, oh my gosh, they're gonna cancel my story. Like, and I had a couple months to worry about it, so I wasn't like in total panic, and I was just frustrated. And I thought, well, I don't know, this is how I deal with when I'm upset, is I'll make fun of it. And yeah, so that's kind of, and I thought maybe other people would think it was funny, and I put it up there, and I didn't expect all that. So I'm glad that people laughed with me over it, and I'm really glad it didn't get deleted. So thank you, Amazon, for not deleting my story.
So what do you use to make your videos?
Okay, so we talked about how I try new things. I am the worst. My spending for photo and video apps is not great. Because I try all kinds of stuff. So the 3D ones, I'll try to remember really fast. The 3D ones, I will give you the link after this, because I can't remember the name of it, and it's been a long time. I only subscribed to that for a month because it was really expensive. And I will tell you, when I link you, if people decide to try it, do not try to run ads with it. Facebook hates it.
Oh.
Yeah, I got like smacked on the wrist over one of those ads. I tried to use the zombie one, I think, where the zombie's like walking and it looks like 3D, where he walks across the ad.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, it's too similar to a Facebook property or an Instagram property, and so it was copyright infringement. So
Wow.
don't. And the company will tell you it's fine to run ads with it. Don't do that. But they're fun for if you just want to post stuff, maybe in the groups or on your social media or whatever. Just don't run ads. I use Vimeo a lot. They have it's Vimeo.
Yep.
I think I have the pro account for that. They have a lot of templates, which are nice, because like I'm not really good with transitions and things. I'm really not that great at any of that stuff. I'm just good. I'm lazy, so I'm really good at finding stuff that speaks to my laziness. And it'll do all the transitions and the fancy text and stuff like that. But you have to pay for that one. So I just found a new one called Vita, Vita. And that's free. And I am amazed at all the stuff that app will do for free. I don't even know if there is a paid version, to be honest, because they don't ever plug it. They don't ever advertise it to you, which is also nice. And you can turn the watermark off, which is another thing that's amazing. Usually you get a free app, you can't, they got their watermark on there, but there's a setting in there. I actually talked about it on Instagram recently. You can turn the watermark right off on it, and it'll let you layer your sounds and everything, which is really nice too. So you can use a couple different sound effects and then transition them in and out. It's pretty cool.
Now, when you're doing the ads, are all of the effects and the pictures and stuff your cover and then stuff you find on the app, or did you pay for like a bunch of different promo artwork?
So when you use Vimeo Creator, I think it's called, I actually made those on the phone. You link right to, they have a stock image and stock videos that you can choose from. I want to say that the book trailer that I made for Chew, which is like one of my most favorite things I've probably ever made, and it's on the landing page for Chew. That was entirely using I made it on my phone using Vimeo stock videos, and then I uploaded it to TikTok for the music so that I could get the Pink Floyd song on there,
Hmm.
and that was it. Like it was super easy, and it's all right. You do it all right in app. I don't usually have to do a whole lot. I mean, I have accounts, different places. I have like an account with deposit photos, but that's mostly for like static image stuff. I don't really do anything else that way. I don't subscribe to anything. It's all just in app. It's pretty nice. I think I pay probably $7 a month for that subscription, so that's not terrible.
And that was for the Vimeo?
Yeah, that's a good value. I mean, you're paying for it, but it is a good value. It's got a pretty robust stock, image and video library to choose from.
That's awesome. I didn't even know that. I know Vimeo, but I didn't know that they did. I thought it was more for like video hosting more than
So
putting
did
together.
I? Yeah, I found it at random, and then well, let me try this shiny. So I did, and it's pretty cool. I probably use that more often. I'm still learning Vita. It's like I said, it's free, and I like it. I like what you can do with sound. I will use, and I'm really famous for this. I'll use each app for what it's best at, and then I'll save it, and then I'll open it in the next app. So like I'll make something in one app, but I hate their font choices. So then I'll open that video in a different app for the better font, and then I hate their music choices. Then I'm over here looking, and I'll do that, and that is one thing that is a little more time consuming because you're refiguring this video 3 different times, but it's worth it, I think, in the end.
I use I have to look it up because I forget what it was called now. Epidemic Sound. Have you heard of that?
No,
I use them specifically they're great for YouTube because so if you get music from YouTube, like from any of the services that will give you free music, YouTube can still recognize that it's a copyrighted song, and they'll flag you, and then you have to go in and tell YouTube, no, I got it from the streaming service that allows it, and then they take it off. So it's just kind of a process. But this Epidemic Sound automatically does that for you. It does like the white what's it called? The whitelisting your videos automatically.
Right.
Yeah.
Will it do that for other services besides YouTube?
It does, yeah. And
That would be nice.
Yeah, they have like tons of songs. They have like not just like the cheesy stock ones. They have really good ones with like audio and every genre, everything you can imagine. So I like them. They're a bit expensive.
The cheesy stock one, that's a huge problem on TikTok.
Yeah.
Because if you have the business, if you want a link in your profile, you have to have a business account, but there's no good music. So if you want the good music, you have to switch out of the business account until you get 1,000 followers. And then I guess they'll let you put the link back on. But TikTok is the same way. If you're not using their music, then they, I don't know, give you a warning or whatever they do. I'm not on TikTok enough to know. I don't know what they do. I know they put a cover on all my videos. Anytime there's like a drop of blood, they're like, oh, there's blood. We got to cover that up. So
yeah, I've had that happen too.
Well, we're going to have to get more creative, I think, and scare people without scaring them. I don't
know. And then I think you also are really great. I said this earlier about your taglines where Chew has where were you when you turned, but then also with discarded objects. Before that came out, there was like Alice Kane Must Die everywhere. Like it was just like you saw it, and it just made you like, I gotta read this. I can't wait to read this. And you even had like Stefan Lair was sharing it. Like
he was. You know what? He was so funny. He really jumped on that video about Alice Kane Must Not Die. He even made a hashtag.
Yeah.
He was hilarious. The sequel to that. Well, I don't know if I should say that. Might be a spoiler. I'll just keep quiet about what the sequel is. But I'm hoping to keep up that titling angle, we'll say. So like the first one is Alice Kane Must Die, and then the next one is so and so dies in the end. I won't say who that is, but So I'm hoping to keep that up through the whole series, but that's kind of hard. I've already like kind of hit a wall and went, man, I don't know what I'm going to call the fourth one. I have no idea, but we'll figure it out when we get there, I guess. So hopefully, and I bought URL redirects for all those, which is another thing that people ask me about. So readchew.live is, I just went and I bought that from namecheap.com. And then you go in and you just point that to wherever you want. So I redirect that. That particular URL is redirected to the Amazon homepage, but you can make that anything. I might actually change that back to my landing page. But yeah, and then I had AliceKane.mustDie.live as well. So, and that's kind of nice because when you're telling people face to face, this is especially like my husband was kind of like telling people, yeah, my wife's got this story. And when you're trying to tell someone like, well, where do I read it? Okay, it's HTTP. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
You can't do that. So that was really helpful because now he just tells them, just readchew.live. And there we go. It's like a lot easier. So I definitely recommend doing that. It was $4 a year.
Yeah, I did the same thing on Namecheap, and I did it because of you. I messaged you and asked you about how you did that with
Yeah.
the read2.live, and then so I did it with Winter's Myth, and for the same reason, just so I could easy to tell people, and then also on sites like TikTok and Instagram where you can't post like a clickable link.
Right.
You can just put that in the video or whatever, and it's just easier for people to remember.
Yeah, like the little cover that goes on the TikTok. That's usually where I stick it so that it kind of shows when they look at your profile, it's your link on, all the way around. I think Martin Shannon is the one that told me about that. So that was super handy. And another example of why it's great to network with other authors. So I just want to throw that in there. Yeah, that was really helpful. And for $4 a year, I mean, you can't even get business cards that cheap. I mean, that's amazing. So
yeah, I should get it for everything.
What I wouldn't do though, I don't put it anywhere where I feel like there's a situation. So, you worry, if I didn't know what the link was, I would be leery of clicking on it. So I feel like if I'm in a situation where like a bunch of strangers are like, hey, I'm looking for zombie books, I would probably link the real link there. Just because people don't know me and they don't know that, I might not be sending them a virus or something. So I would be leery of that for people who want to try that out. But other than that, I think it's great. It's the greatest kind of business card that you could probably have outside of the little QR code, which I just learned about from Kitty the other day. She made me one for Chew.
Oh yeah, I got to get one of those too.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell her she'll make you one.
Awesome. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so the Alice Kane Must Die. I think it's so great that it's like a build up to them clicking on the link. Do you know what I mean? Like you're hearing about the story and you're getting these little things that just make it so like I have to read this. It's like seeing a trailer for a movie, but without the trailer. It's just these little lines and these little things. You build like a universe on social media around your story, and I think it's fantastic. And I'm like drilling this point home because I think most of my viewers are probably new, and the question we always hear is, well, how do I get readers? And it's not going to happen overnight, but you just build that environment around yourself that makes it a place where your readers want to go.
That is a great way to explain it. Yes. Yeah, I agree. And I think too that you need to remember, or they need to remember, I was here at launch. So mid-July is when Chew actually started up. And just plugging away and plugging away and plugging away. And so it takes a long time. Somebody might not, nobody's going to, I don't want to say nobody, but very few people are going to click the link the first time that they see it. They might just be not in a position to read a new story right now, or, they might be interested, but they don't have the time right that second. It might take the 10th or the 12th mention of seeing it on Instagram before they go, oh, you know what? I actually have a spare minute. I think I'm going to go ahead and read this now. So yeah, just be patient. I see a lot of like, I've been doing this for 2 weeks and I don't have like a lot of reads, and it's like, and then I look and I see how many reads they had, and I'm thinking, man, if I had that many in July when it launched, I would have been so excited. So
Yeah, I think there's definitely a level of managing expectations that needs to happen when you're new, and just be prepared for it's you know, it's a marathon, and you have to really just grind and try everything, and
Yes.
it works. It does. It's just it takes time.
It does, and you have to take time to find out what works for you. You know, you mentioned the tagline that you like the tagline for Chew. I didn't come out of the gate with that. That tagline just kind of it found me. We'll say, you know, like 2 or 3 months in. I've probably rewritten my blurb. Oh my gosh, 10 times over you know since the first day that I posted. When something better comes along that I think of, I go with that. So and if I was in a hurry and if other people were in a hurry, they're going to miss those opportunities. You're never going to know when inspiration is going to strike, or you're going to get to a spot in the story when you're like, oh my gosh, this is like the whole series right here in this line. And then that would make a great tagline. And you don't know when that's going to happen. So just, you know, be patient, you know, manage their expectations. It's not going to be overnight. I mean, that sounds like a platitude, but it's true. It really is. Go easy on yourself. Like give it some time. The readers will come. It'll be all right. You know, just relax.
Yeah, I think it's easy to get panicky too, like because with Vella, you know, there's a lot of people who say like there's not a lot of readers on it yet and blah blah blah. But I think more than like any other platform, you get a little bit of visibility right away, more than you would elsewhere. So you have that day where like you launch and maybe your family and friends come on and check it out, and you look at your little stats and you say, I got 20 reads today, I got 20 reads the next day, I got 20 reads the next day, and then all of a sudden you don't have any for like 2 weeks. And it can really bum you out, but it's like I talk to people who are in the top 25 who have those days where they're like, nobody read my story today, and it's just something that happens.
And I don't think there's any platform that is going to bring you readers. I know that's like the biggest, you know, complaint, and I see it a lot. And I get being frustrated, but I think that while Vella is great because there's a very low barrier of entry. I mean, they're not charging you to upload your story. You can get going really inexpensively. And I think that the bad side of that is that it's so easy that I think people then think it's all going to be easy, and it isn't, because you're still self-publishing. And when you're self-publishing, you're going to have to find your own readers, and you're going to have to lasso them in and tie them up and sit them in front of your story, and you're going to have to keep them there because you're going to have to update week after week after week, and no one's going to do that for you, unfortunately. I mean, it is I know, believe me, I get frustrated. I get frustrated by a lot of things, but as far as the readership goes, like no one is going to do that for you. I mean, even if you were to get a book deal tomorrow, they're not going to magically find readers for you. I mean, you're going to have to really kind of help market yourself and market your story and have something there for them to read when they get there. So,
yeah, I always joke that that being a writer is one job, but being a self-published writer is 15. You know, there's a lot of stuff you need to do there.
It is, because I mean, you've got the art, and that's the writing, and then you got the business, and that's the publishing part. And the publishing part and owning a business, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. And there are platforms that have millions of readers that have been out for years, that have that step ahead of Vella in that aspect, but they also have millions of writers. So you're still going to have to find your reader yourself, because you're just going to be lost in the shuffle.
Right.
And Vella is going to only grow. So now is the time to plant your foot down and make your mark while you can. And
I think it's a great time to be an early adopter, of things. Like the Hulu ads. I just talked about that the other day. I attended the webinar. So Hulu is going to let people run ads now. They're like Facebook. So they'll have self-service ads that you'll be able to run in your little like ads manager for Hulu. That's a big deal. People are kind of like, oh, really? And like, I don't think anybody understands what a big deal that is. You can make a video. My stupid Alice Kane video could be on Hulu. if I wanted to spend $500 for people to look at that and not get the joke because they're not in Kindle Vella. But I could if I wanted to.
Do you
That's a
think it
big
will
deal.
translate for that people will go from the television to their Kindle?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think people who consume like entertainment, especially like, what we write, they're easily going to go from one platform to the other. I mean, how many people, I watch The Walking Dead. I watch, you know what I mean? Like all that kind of stuff. I mean, if you like spooky stuff, you're going to watch spooky TV. You're going to read spooky books. I mean, if you like to read.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people who find that they didn't used to like to read are finding that they do enjoy reading because audiobooks are really on the rise, I think. So I think that's another thing to watch is the audio version. I wish they had like an audio format for Kindle Vella.
Me too.
That would be great.
I hope they do in the future, and I'm sure they will.
Yeah, I think it would make it a lot more accessible for people who, because like my husband always said, oh, I don't like to read. And, I got him into audiobooks. He loves them. So, yeah, I think when they start pushing that kind of stuff too, that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, before the pandemic, my job was an hour away. So I flew through audiobooks because I needed something to do while I was driving.
Right. Yeah. He would travel a lot for work too. He'd have to drive down to, 8 hours this way, 8 hours that way, blah, blah, blah. And he was killing quite a few books. And it was, I don't know, you get tired. I hate to say it, like we're getting old because there's only so much music you can listen to. And you would just get kind of tired of it. And most of our playlists, I'm not going to lie, is from like the 80s and 90s. Yeah. So you get tired of listening to, I don't know, Motley Crue for the 50th time. And so so he switched over to books. But yeah, I mean, I think that's like a big thing. And I think that you're also seeing it a lot. People are putting their work on YouTube, they're reading their own, so that it's cheaper, obviously, if you're reading your own work. And I guess they're monetizing their YouTube channels that way. So I don't really know how that works, but that just kind of shows you that people want to listen to stories. However they can get them. So
yeah, that's awesome. Are you going to try the Hulu ads?
I don't know. I might. You never know. You never know with me. I might. We'll see. I'm attending all the webinars just because I'm super curious about it.
Yeah. I'm interested in that. I need to pay someone to do a good video for me though.
Yeah. I think you need. So yeah, it's a little bit different than Facebook. It sounds to me like from the webinar I listened to yesterday, a lot of people are getting turned down because there was a lot of questions like, well, why did you turn down my video? And so it seems like they're really into quality control. So they're actually watching the stuff before they let it go to air, which makes sense. There's not great targeting, but I would assume that because a lot of people were complaining about it. So, I mean, if they want their ads platform to take off, they're probably going to have to change that. So I think that'll probably get better as time goes on. But it is pretty interesting. You never know. I might have a video that might go up there. I think the biggest thing is getting rights for music. To me, I think that's probably that's probably the biggest thing because I would never be able to the trailer I have for Chew I wouldn't be able to use because I have I made it on TikTok and it has the Pink Floyd song on there. So Wish You Were Here. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to afford, even if I could afford the Hulu ad, I won't be able to afford the rights to that song. So that'll probably be the biggest thing. So I don't know how they're making it. They need to provide some kind of ads library so we can see examples.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, but it's beta, so it's Facebook. Very early.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I stalk Facebook ads all the time, just seeing how people do it.
So you can. Do you know how you get the? If you want to know about targeting, I feel like a lot of people always ask about how do I choose targeting and what are you targeting and stuff like that. If you're getting served ads, there's a little thing on the ads. I don't know if you know this or not, but there's little things. Why am I seeing this? Have you ever noticed that on the ad? Yep. If you click that, it'll tell you why you got targeted. Then you'll know what they're targeting.
Yeah.
That's a little tiny stalkerish sort of tip for you. Like, so if you want to know what they're targeting, all you got to do is when the ad gets served to you, just hit, why am I seeing this ad? And then you'll know.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know they did that.
You can. It's like little stuff like that, I guess, But I don't know that that's a good, unless they're directly related to your genre, I don't think it's going to help you.
Yeah.
So.
So let's talk a little bit. We were just saying how for new authors they they need to manage their expectations a little bit, and I think you and I both hear a lot of myths, I guess, or just false claims from people about the
Yeah.
platform, that there's no readers on it, things like that, and that the only way you're going to be successful is if you have an audience when you come in. And I think you
Yeah.
and I both disprove that because neither one
Right.
of us had anything when we
Right.
came in, right?
No, and you grew really fast. Your story and your platform is growing really fast. So
Yeah, I don't know if it's
that's
gonna.
awesome.
I don't know if I'm getting like. I feel like I'm getting a lot of reads, but I don't know that I'm getting a lot of anything that would translate outside of Winter's Myths.
Yeah, you know what though? You got to get the reads first.
Right. Yeah.
I think.
I mean, I'm not complaining.
And then you can work. Yeah, and then you can work on the other stuff. I really think that's like everybody worries about the phase. So I'm boycotting the leaderboard. I don't look at it anymore, and I haven't been for a while. And it was really hard to stop looking at it. So like people, I know they look at it a lot, and I was one of those people. So it was hard to like not do it, but I don't anymore. And I don't think that it matters as much as everybody thinks. I think that unless you're in that top 10, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they make. So I haven't been top 10. So I can't say. That's a problem I'd like to have, but currently I don't. But I don't really think it matters too much till you get up there, to be honest. My income hasn't changed one bit because I was in top 21, I think, around the time that I quit looking. I think I was 21 was the highest I ever went. And then I didn't write for 2 months and I didn't post a chew for 2 months. And my bonus never changed. Not one penny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So now I ran ads.
Right.
You're wrong. And I had reads. So I think reads trump everything else. I know everybody worries about the phase. I think you do have to have phase, and I think that ranking matters, but I don't think it matters as much till you get to that really like that top page, and then not so much.
Yeah.
That's my theory. I mean, I don't know anything more than anybody else knows, I guess, too. But
and I think another thing that a lot of people think about the platform is that you only are going to get high up in the rankings if you write romance or romance equivalent. And I think
there's
that
romance in mine. I don't know about yours. Is there any romance in yours? I
there's
haven't
no
seen
romance in mine at all. None at all.
I mean, sure. The top 2 right now look like those are romance, right?
Yeah.
Nikki's still number 2. She was.
I think so. Yeah, Nikki.
Yeah. So I mean, there's definitely romance is very well represented in that top 25. That's for sure. But
definitely.
Bug is up there. That's zombie.
Yep.
I don't know what number she is anymore. She used to be back when I looked. She was always like right around number 14. I was always at number 21. We were always 7 apart. It's like she was always 7 ahead of me. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where anybody is now. But
and then the Dream Heist is always up there, and that's like a YA.
What genre is? Which one is that?
It's like a YA adventure thriller.
I haven't read that one yet.
It's good.
I need to read
Christine
that one.
Marley. It's really good. And yeah, I mean that one it's YA, and it does have like a romance sort of in there, but it's not advertised as that, and it's not really
right. It's not the point of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's possible to get in there. I think it's also, I mean, it's obvious that romance is the genre especially for
people want to read romance, clearly.
Yeah.
But the idea that they don't want to read other stuff too is false. I mean, I would say that, they definitely want to read some of the other stuff too. I think that we're good examples of that.
And I feel like if you write romance, it's almost harder because there's as many writers as there are readers for romance.
Right. The competition is a lot fiercer.
Yeah. It's the same thing with anything. If you find that niche, then it's a nice place to be. And you may grow slower than some of those top dogs in the other fields, but would you have been a top dog in that other field,
Right. Exactly. Yes. And you know what? That's a good comparison for Vella versus, had we released onto Kindle, just regular Kindle. I don't know how it would have done had I done that, and neither do you. We don't know, but this is a much smaller pond, and I feel like, yeah, it's in beta, and they're kind of still trying to get readers to come check us out and stuff like that. But I don't know, it's a little bit easier. I think it's a little bit easier. I don't know.
Me
Other
too.
people may disagree, but
And I like when you find that niche, like we're in the horror genre, but this applies for anybody. I think if they're writing YA or whatever genre they're in, how you just, it's like this automatic sense of community where we all kind of look out for
yes,
each other. Where if you're in like one of the top genres, like the paranormal romance and that sort of thing, I feel like it's probably going to be a little more cutthroat and a little more
they'll cut you.
competitive.
Listen, they'll cut you over there. You
Exactly.
stay with us, with the vampires and and the zombies. We're much nicer. I'm joking. I'm friends with a lot of authors in the romance genre.
Oh
So
yeah, me too.
I'm kind of like teasing them a little bit right now, but
I read
no,
some
but
of
it
those.
is. Yeah, it's the competition is very fierce for that genre. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's nice and quiet over where we are. And I think we're like getting more and more represented too. There's a
Yeah,
lot. That horror tag is definitely
going
getting
up.
a lot of action lately. I'm seeing it a lot. So I think it's good.
I wonder if anyone's tried. I know I forgot his name now. Nate something writes the Planar Gates. Do you read that one?
I have not read it yet. I do think that is on my list though. My list is really long though. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on my list.
He's done
Nate
like
Gillick.
little
That's his name. Nate Gillick.
Gillick, yes.
Yes.
He's done like cross promos in his series where a character from someone else's series, with their permission, will show up in his series, and then he'll put in the author notes to check them out. I don't know that
Oh.
anyone would feel comfortable quite doing that in the horror genre, but I wonder if like if we just started like author noting, like saying like, oh, there's a series I like. If once you're caught up on this one, if you want to go check out theirs,
Right. You know
I
who
might.
did do that? Jessica Aaron. She has that series. Is it all fair and love and serial fiction? Oh God, I'm
Oh, is it like
murdering her.
Love, War, and Serial Fiction or
Yeah,
something
I'm
like?
murdering her
Yes,
title. That's what I
yes.
do. But yeah, she did that though. She and it was any genre. It was just stuff that she was reading, and she was putting that in her author notes. She would kind of like give them a little shout in the episode, and then she would mention them specifically by name in the author notes, which I thought was really cool. She's doing really well with that series, which is good because I don't know if you've read it, but it's so fun.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, she's writing about Zella, and
Zella. Yeah,
yeah,
I listened
and
to her
it's fun.
on I listened to her on the Serial Fiction Show podcast too, and she just seems like she's having a lot of fun writing that one.
Yeah, she's such a nice person too. She's one of the safe romance writers to talk to now.
She won't cut you.
She won't cut you.
Well, I think that's all that I have for today. Is there anything that you want to direct people towards where they can find you?
Oh, sure. So I have a link tree that has a million things on it. If you can wade through all of that, I think we'll put it in the notes or something somewhere.
Yeah, I will.
And as you mentioned, there is a paperback coming out soon. I'm very excited. So I'll put that as soon as I can out. And then, of course, the Speakeasy opens really soon. There will be a link to it eventually, but you won't be able to get in unless you get the password from reading the newest episode of Chew, which is every Sunday and Wednesday.
That's awesome. And you can go here to Chew, or you can just look up Chew on Kindle Vella.
You can, yes.
All right.
Although
awesome.
I think I still have that hanger on my name tag that I didn't get rid of. I still have another.
Oh yes.
Yeah. But oh well.
I can't believe they didn't delete that.
Yeah, I don't know. They said they were working on it, and they got rid of 2 of them, but there's still one more. I think they're bot accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got to report it again. But anyway.
Yeah, if you're a new author, don't use somebody else's name to tag your series.
Yeah, that's not a good. There's trying new things in marketing, and then there's just no, don't do that. But that could happen. I know that you actually. I wanted to talk about this. You Michael Lee had brought up about using author names as a tag for tagging. And I think it is pretty effective, but I wanted to point out that it doesn't matter. Even if I hadn't created that tag, anybody can make a tag. So anybody could have tried that with anybody else's story too.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so basically just check them every once in a while. I guess the moral of that story is check your author tag and see if there is one. Even if you don't use them, see if there's somebody else created one.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm glad we finally got you on. And I'm going to be messaging you in a little while because I want to ask you about that cover because I want to know who did it.
Oh, okay. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'll probably give her like a whole shout when I post it and everything. But yes, I'll definitely give you her name. She's awesome.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks for having me on.